Chapter 1. The marketplace was growing more crowded as the day warmed up. The dirty, ragged child watched everything with feverish concentration. Her red-brown hair straggled into her eyes and she pushed it back impatiently. She dared not miss anything. At last, her attention became fixed on one corner of the marketplace. The young man in brown stood quietly, leaning on his staff, hardly moving at all as he waited patiently in the mid-morning sunshine. He looked ordinary. His face, his brown skin, his dark hair cropped short, peasant fashion, were no different from the folk around him. Only the watching child saw that while he seemed to be lounging casually, there was something a little too controlled about it. He was keeping himself still with an effort, and his air of assurance and independence did not match his coarse drab tunic and trews. Abruptly, a tall, thin woman appeared at the brown man's shoulder. He could not, thought the child, have heard her over the noise of the market. Was the man about to be attacked? Stiffening treacherously trembling knees and wiping grimy hands down the grubby sack that did duty for a tunic, the child moved carefully closer. The woman spoke to the brown man from behind. The sudden sound should have made him start, yet he controlled the movement at once and merely turned his head slightly. "Stand there too long, Baylock, and some dog will take you for a treat," she said, laughing under her breath. Her voice was so clear that it carried to the sharp-eared watcher, crabbing gradually nearer. Baylock frowned and spoke too softly to be heard by anyone else. The woman shook her head. She took a bite from the large plum she was holding and slurped loudly in an effort to suck up all the juice. The watching child swallowed. She didn't feel really hungry anymore, just weak. Well, it was hard to watch others eat. And she couldn't see clearly. The scene was dimming, swimming. With an effort, the watcher blinked away the haze. Baylock looked full at his companion at last. He had to tilt his head a little. She was taller by half a head. Were they arguing? Wondered the watcher. The man was scolding the woman. She laughed, spread out her hands carelessly. The half-eaten plum shot from her fingers across the roadway. She paid no heed. It would be snatched up by one of the street skimmers, the beggar children who always hung around the outskirts of the market. Baylock ran his hands over his hair, smoothing the frown from his face as well. "You have no news then?" "None. Have a plum." She dug into the bag she held in the crook of her arm. She held out a plum to him, then bit into it herself when he shook his head irritably. "Then we should leave town today. It is too dangerous for us now. Will you listen to me just this once, Gray? You are the most reckless of idiots, but I am too fond of you to leave you to rot in some dungeon. I'd have to try to save you and probably get myself killed in the trying, so for my sake, I beg." The child was near enough now. "Here's your plum, lady," she said shakily. Baylock broke off. He and Gray gazed in total astonishment at the bedraggled child who stood solemnly holding out the half-eaten plum. The child stared gravely back at them, not moving. Gray took the dusty fruit. "Thank you," she said. "Would you care to try one yourself?" She held out the bag, and with a small bow, the child took a plum and ate it with neat, careful bites. The two exchanged glances over the child's head. Gray's eyebrows asked, his shrug agreed. "Are you alone, child, friend?" The woman might have been addressing an equal in age and rank, and the child answered in the same style. I am at present alone. I seek my kinfolk. Baylock's face twitched as he tried to smother his amazement. Beggars did not speak so. Gray's expression of polite interest did not change, but she too was jolted. She crouched, half kneeling to bring herself to the child's level. Do you know where to seek them? May we be of help to you? She still spoke formally, but her tone warmed it to friendliness. The child looked away for the first time, swallowing hard. Then she held up her head again defiantly. My kin are all storytellers. I was with my father, Weaveward. He was to tell his tales before Lord Eaglin. I cannot find him, but everyone knows Storyteller Weaveward. I have only to ask in the right places. Suddenly the composure broke. It is a week now, the gate guards laughed and said he'd never been there. The woman's arms went around the child, shielding the tears from any onlookers. Of course, everyone has heard of Storyteller Weaveward. She jerked her head at Baylock and he stepped between her and the marketplace, looking warily around. Nobody seemed to have noticed them, and everything was normal for the time of day, with housewives bargaining, dogs and small children getting underfoot, and stallholders shouting their wares. We'd better get back to the inn before someone notices us, he said over his shoulder. No one is paying any attention yet. If we take you with us, child, and we trust you to be quiet. The child was indignant. Of course. Baylock did not turn from scanning the square and the roads leading from it. You are too worn and hungry, too weak to walk far. I'd better carry you. The child drew herself up. I can walk. We shall be more noticeable if you collapse in the street than if Bay carries you, Gray told her. You would not wish to put us in danger by drawing attention. The child nodded. All right, she said reluctantly, and Baylock at once turned and lifted her to his shoulder. He swept the edge of his shoulder cape so it covered the unusually bright hair, and was heading for the road before Gray had grabbed his staff. She had to juggle the bag of plums and almost dropped it. The child peered between her eyelids. She must see where they went. Not that she didn't trust them. Suppose they had to leave her suddenly. They didn't seem to hurry, but they twisted deftly through the crowd and walked briskly down the road that led to the old part of the town, turning off shortly into a maze of alleyways. Here, Gray dropped behind, checking for followers, and Baylock, keeping most of the child's weight on his left arm so that he could reach his dagger easily, slipped around corner after corner as quietly as he could, without seeming furtive. Presently he waited for Gray. She came silently, as always, smiling. No one, she reported. Shall I take over? Baylock looked down at the child whose head was lolling against his shoulder. No, the Brat is asleep. I can manage as far as the inn. You're better at holding old Barrel-Belly's attention anyway. He mustn't see any ragtag infants entering his precious inn. Right as usual, Baylock? What should I do without you? Better, probably. Gray answered herself and slipped ahead, grinning at his affronted expression. While Gray kept the innkeeper occupied, Baylock sneaked unnoticed up to their room. He eased his burden gently onto the bed and stood back, rubbing his aching arm. Light as the child was, The weight had seemed to increase with carrying, as weights will, and he had not tried to shift it to the other arm for fear of waking the poor creature. At this point, the poor creature sat up straight in the bed and said furiously, "I was not asleep." Baylock was taken aback. "I thought you were," he said feebly. "I shut my eyes because your stupid cape kept getting in them, that's all." Gray came softly into the room and shut the door. "Gently, child," she said. "You're not supposed to be here, remember? Now, I've wheedled some bread and broth from old Buttertub, and while you eat it slowly, we can talk." The child giggled weakly. "I think you called him Barrel Belly." Gray looked shocked. "Sky above, no! Our noble landlord him calls himself Good Barrel. Only vulgar persons would call him Buttertub and Barrel Belly." "So, you were awake all the time, were you?" The child nodded, mouth too full to speak. Gray waited for the gulp and said, "Pause a little before you eat more. You'll choke. Now, what are we to call you?" She slipped back into formality for the question. Even a use name could be a sensitive point. "Brat," said the child with a fierce gaze at Baylock. Gray's eyebrows rose. "Well," she said, "I am called Gray, and this is Baylock." She hesitated and added, "I am also known as Grey Cat. Do you still wish to be called Brat?" There was a startled silence. Grey Cat, the outlaw? Her use name reflected her uncanny ability to disappear in a crowd despite her uncommon height, or to slip into shadow and seem to vanish, one shadow among many. Grey Cat, who could enter and leave almost any place unnoticed if she did not wish to be seen. For a moment, the child's expression softened. Such trust almost demanded a confidence in return. Then she looked at Baylock again. "Yes, please," she said coldly. "Brat." Gray shrugged. "I shall bring more food later. And now, I suggest you try to sleep. We must wait until the market closes before we leave town, and we shall be travelling most of the night." "Leave town? Why? Are you in danger? I can't leave until I know where my father..." "You know what happened to him," accused Brat in a shocked whisper. Gray moved stealthily to the door. She opened it, looked along the passage, closed it again and pushed the bar into place. Baylock was already closing the window. Brat knelt up on the bed, breathing faster, and watched in silence. Gray came to stand by the bed, softly and distinctly. "Your father is dead, Brat," she said. "Lord Eglin had him killed 2 nights since. I have seen his body. You have escaped with your life only because his death is known to very few." Brat did not move or speak, merely stared, rigid. Gray went on. "The men who laughed at you when you asked for your father did not know of his arrest and death. I think you did not look like the child of Storyteller Weaveword by then." She paused and Brat whispered, "The old woman stole my clothes, those I hadn't sold for food." "So you were lucky that she did," Gray told her. Brat still stared at her with strained attention. "But by now you may well be searched for. We can help you out of the town, but you'll have to do as we say. Will any miss you here?" "No one?" Brat's frozen stare did not alter. "Good. And will you do as we ask?" Gray's tone was neither coaxing nor compelling. A small, stiff nod answered her. One of us must buy provisions discreetly. Since you must not be known to be in this room, the other must stay here for fear of intruders. Would you have me stay or Baylock? Baylock, said Brat. Baylock was startled. I thought, he began, but Gray frowned him to silence. You pack, I'll purchase, and Brat shall rest, she said. If anyone tries to come in, you have a hangover and you want to sleep. She surveyed Brat thoughtfully. We must disguise you in case anyone remembers you asking for Weavewood. Do you want to be a boy or a girl? Brat was surprised out of rigidity. Interest and intelligence returned. The guard said, run along, lad. So I'd better be a girl, only no lies. Storytellers can't tell lies. No lies, agreed Brat reassuringly. We'll do all the talking. You shall seem to be Bay's little sister. Your features are enough alike. If your colouring was similar. I'll see if I can get some hair and skin dye, and you may choose a wraparound from my spares. Bay, cut it down for Brat. When Gray had gone, Baylock pulled the curtain across. If I really had a hangover and a headache, he explained to Brat, I'd want the room darkened. I shall be able to see well enough to pack. You'll find it easier to sleep. And if anyone outside tries to look in, unlikely, but just possible, this makes it harder. Do you see? Yes, agreed Brat in a small voice. Baylock turned the key in the big chest built into the foot of the bed. He pulled out Grey Cat's shabby leather pack and began to sort her clothes into it. The 3 wraparounds he spread out on the bed for Brat to choose from. Brat looked them over carefully. They were all too wide and the armholes were too big, but many girl children wore cut-down wraparounds and a belt would hold it in. There was a plain brooch pin for the shoulder as well, which would allow for an overlap. Not the blue, too bright. Green one will be least noticed and it's the straightest. It makes it easier to cut, Brat added, as Baylock looked blank. Oh yes, a good choice. Baylock gave the child a thoughtful stare, found Gray's shears and cut the wraparound to the right length for Brat. He folded the cut-off strip and stowed it in the pack, then persuaded Brat to lie down and try to sleep. He went on packing, moving quietly and steadily. Once he thought he heard a muffled sob and peered at the bed, but Brat was breathing deeply and he decided the child was dreaming. The packing finished, he sat down on the floor with his back against the door and waited for Grey Cat to return. He let himself relax completely, and knowing that her voice would arouse him at once, he fell into a light sleep.